Hi, so this month's prompt on the BOK blog is about fear. I think it's a really creative way to implement the Halloween aspect into this month's prompt. So I got to thinking about what my fear was and how I've overcome my fear and how I plan on making sure that that fear no longer occurs in my life. And as I began to think about it, I thought of all the really silly things that people think fears are and what their fear are. For example, sharks and spiders and mother-in-laws. Those are all things that people are freakishly afraid of. And as I began to think about it more, I realized that sharks on average kill about 47 people a year, and we kill thousands of sharks every year and then eat them. And spiders, spin their webs to catch insects to help our ecosystem, and every time we kill a spider, we're damaging our ecosystem. And then I also realized with mother-in-laws, I'm not married, so I haven't fully figured that one out yet. But throughout all these really silly fears, I figured, that's not my fear. My fears has never been something so minuscule as a spider or a shark or a mother-in-law. All things that I tend to be really scared of, but very easily overcomeable through, as we can see, the effects that happen within our lifetime and within just the world in general. But as I begin to think about it more, I realized that throughout my high school career, for all 4 years, I was very in tune with keeping myself within my comfort zone and never branching out of my comfort zone. From 7th grade year in middle school, I knew that I was going to be a part of the speech and debate team at Sprague, and maybe, branch it out through college, and that was going to be my niche. That's what I was going to do. And I mean, I did do that all throughout high school, and I never really left it. I made sure that I stayed in that little implemented zone of those kids that were on my debate team and didn't really branch out. That's what I did, and I never wanted to leave my comfort zone because that's the place where I knew I would be safe and would be able to express myself in a way that people would not judge me, and because they were a bunch of kids that were just like me. And as I thought more about high school, I realized that I wasn't really fulfilling my expectation of what I wanted to do. College was just around the corner. I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know how I was going to feel about college. I knew I wanted to get out of high school, but I didn't know where my boundaries were with my comfort zone, because I didn't know if I wanted to move to California or Illinois or New York. I had no idea exactly what I wanted to do. And by the time my senior year hit, I made a lot of drastic change in my life. I decided that I was done being sad. I was done blaming other people for my unhappiness, and I was done not taking any risks that weren't going to advance my life and my knowledge anywhere. So through that, I decided to partake in this thing called Oli Pageant, which was a year-long fundraiser for a children's hospital up in Portland, Oregon. And that really branched out my respecting views of my comfort zone, because you see these kids that are dying of these diseases that they can't fight on their own, that they can't survive without being hooked up to an IV and taking a ton of meds every month. And I'm over here scared to get out of my house and do something I've never done before, but these kids in this hospital are dying to do that every single day. Are dying to be able to just go ice skating at the Lloyd Center, or dying to be able to eat that elephant ear, but they can't because they're a diabetic, and having that much sugar could potentially put them into unhealthy shock. And just seeing those kids made me realize that it's time that I start to live my life in a way that I want to be proud of. I'm not proud of being able to be stuck in my comfort zone every single day and not doing things that would make other people proud and to make myself proud, because that's the most important person that you need to make proud is yourself. And as I became more in tune with Oli Pageant and raising money for the children's hospital, I realized that not only did these kids need to change, but I really, really needed change in my life. And I started hanging out with people that made me happy and didn't degrade on what I thought was wrong or right, but they rather just helped me through the complicated process of finding out who you are. And I heard this really cool mantra from a guy that I know, and he said that he watched the movie called Yes Man, and it has like Jim Carrey in it, and he said that that movie changed his life because it continually talks about saying yes to opportunities and saying yes to things you wouldn't normally do because they're out of your comfort zone. And he said the moment that he took on that mantra of saying yes to more things is the moment that his life changed. He met new people. He experienced new things. He found things that he loved that he would have never done before if he didn't take on this mantra. And I made a pact to myself that my senior year summer going into college that I would say yes to as many things as possible and branch out of my comfort zone. And all starting with Oli pageant and then just working my way up from there. I experienced a ton of stuff. I went whitewater rafting, which is something I would never done before. I lost a really great pair of Ray-Bans in that lake, and I'm still slightly peeved about it. I've traveled to Utah and found out that's where I wanted to attend school, and I decided to join the debate team at the U and be able to meet new people through those types of activities, something that I love to do and have a sharing common interest of what other people love to do. I've met incredible people that will stay with me for my whole life. I don't stay in my room anymore and just watch Netflix, although that's really great. Just finished Desperate Housewives. I am learning a new language and hope to travel to the Middle East someday and be able to help them with translating and be able to teach English or be able to help translate Arabic in those native countries. Like I have so much dreams and aspirations just because I stepped out of my comfort zone and faced my fear of like not being accepted and not being able to be loved in an environment where it's so judgmental these days. I took it upon myself to not only let others be proud of me, but for myself to be proud of me and to say yes to more things. And through all of these things that have happened within my lifetime of just a year span, I have seen a drastic change in my mental, my physical, and my spiritual health. I was at my high school the other day helping coach the debate team there, and I ran into an old teacher of mine, and she said, "Sage, you look so healthy and you look so happy." And that's something I've never heard before. That's something that ever sunk into my head, and I realized that like just throughout this last year, that's something that has really affected my life by just stepping out of my comfort zone and being there. And so I encourage all of you to face your fears, even the most middle school thing like sharks or spiders or mother-in-laws. Like something great is going to come out of it. And the Be Okay blog is a place where we can share all those type of things. And it's a great thing that happened. And facing your fears is a great thing that has come out of it. And yeah, I encourage all of you guys to do it as well. Thank you.